Welcome to Diana the Storyteller channel. Let's jump right into the story. It was a regular Thursday afternoon when Kylie Jenner found herself scrolling through social media, catching up on the latest news. A headline caught her eye, one that stopped her in her tracks. Local school on the brink of closing due to lack of funding. She clicked on the article. Her interest piqued. It was about a small public school in a low-income area of Los Angeles that had been struggling for years. The school had great students and hardworking teachers, but the funding just wasn't there. The principal, Mrs. Johnson, had been doing everything she could to keep the school running, but the resources were slim, and they were at risk of shutting down. Kylie felt a lump form in her throat as she read about the students who were at risk of losing their chance for an education. It hit her harder than she expected. Kylie had always been passionate about helping people, especially women and children, but this was different. This was a cause that she felt deeply connected to. She knew she had to do something. Without hesitating, Kylie called her assistant. "Get me in touch with the principal of that school. I want to help." Within a few hours, Kylie was on a call with Mrs. Johnson. She introduced herself and explained that she wanted to help the school, but she didn't want it to be just another donation. Kylie wanted to make a real, lasting difference. "I've been reading about the challenges you're facing," Kylie said. "I want to help in a way that can make sure the school not only survives but thrives. What do you need most?" Mrs. Johnson was taken aback at first, but then she explained how the school's budget had been slashed, how the students were often left with outdated textbooks, and how they didn't have enough computers or supplies for basic lessons. "We're just trying to give these kids a chance, Kylie," Mrs. Johnson said, her voice tinged with emotion. "They deserve so much more, but without the resources, we're not sure how much longer we can stay open." Kylie's heart sank as she listened to her. She couldn't imagine a world where children didn't have access to the best education possible. She knew she had to step in. "I'm not just going to donate money," Kylie said firmly. "I'm going to make sure your school has everything it needs. I'll cover the funding and I'll help you get the resources you've been asking for. But that's not all. I want to do something more." Mrs. Johnson was silent for a moment, and then she finally spoke, her voice filled with disbelief. "You're serious?" Kylie smiled. "Dead serious. Let's turn this school around together." Kylie's words hung in the air as she promised Mrs. Johnson that she would not only fund the school's needs, but also make sure it had what it needed to thrive. The shock and gratitude in Mrs. Johnson's voice was clear as she stammered, This is incredible, Kylie. You don't know what this means." Kylie, ever determined and passionate about using her platform for good, wasted no time in putting her plan into action. Over the next few weeks, she called in favors, reached out to friends in high places, and even contacted several large corporations for support. Her message was clear. A generation of children shouldn't have to fight for basic educational resources. She wasn't going to let that happen on her watch. It wasn't long before the donations started rolling in. Local businesses offered to donate school supplies, office furniture, and even new textbooks. Tech companies reached out with offers to donate tablets and laptops for students to use in their classrooms. And, as if that wasn't enough, celebrities she'd known for years, like her sister Kendall and friends such as Gigi Hadid, offered their help with fundraisers and charity events to generate even more support for the school. But Kylie didn't just want to stop at donating money. She wanted to change the trajectory of the students' futures. She saw potential in these kids, and she knew that education wasn't just about textbooks. It was about opportunities, mentorship, and opening doors. That's when Kylie decided to create a scholarship fund. The Kylie Jenner Future Leader Scholarship Fund was born, designed to provide financial support for these students who showed promise but were struggling to afford higher education. With her connections in the fashion and beauty industries, Kylie was able to raise millions more, making sure that students who excelled academically could receive financial assistance for college or vocational school, whether it was tuition, books, or even living expenses. The news of Kylie's involvement spread like wildfire. Local media outlets covered the story, calling it one of the most generous acts of charity seen in years. But the real magic was happening inside the classrooms of Hope High. Teachers who had been struggling with outdated materials now had access to the latest educational tools. Students who had been limited in their access to technology now had laptops and tablets at their fingertips. The energy in the school changed overnight. Mrs. Johnson couldn't believe her eyes when she saw the new classroom setups. "This isn't real," she said, tears welling up in her eyes as she looked around. "We actually have what we need. We're finally equipped." And it wasn't just the teachers who were affected. The students, too, were experiencing a transformation. Diego, a student who had always been quiet and shy, found himself excelling in math and science, subjects he had struggled with in the past. The new tablets and digital resources allowed him to work at his own pace and get the help he needed. His dream of becoming a software engineer didn't seem so far away anymore. One afternoon, Kylie decided to take a trip to the school. She had been to many places before, but this one felt different. Walking through the doors of Hope High felt like a new beginning, not just for the school, but for every student there. Kylie walked through the halls, stopping to chat with the students, answering questions, and even sitting in on a few lessons. "I can't believe all this is happening," one of the students, Maria, said shyly, her eyes wide as she looked at Kylie. "I used to think I'd never make it to college, but now I'm thinking, maybe I can." Kylie smiled warmly, feeling a swell of pride in her chest. "You can, Maria. You've got this." The day was spent giving talks, encouraging the students, and seeing firsthand the results of her generosity. But it wasn't just about the money. It was about showing the kids that someone who had everything, believed in them, cared about their future. Kylie knew that money could solve a lot of problems, but mentorship, emotional support, and encouragement were the key to unlocking a brighter future. Over the next several months, the impact of Kylie's donation and the scholarship fund became even more apparent. The school's academic scores improved dramatically, and attendance was up. The community came together in a way that no one had expected. Local businesses began donating even more, and a few months later, the school was recognized for its dramatic turnaround, winning awards for its success in revitalizing its student body. But the most heartwarming result came during the end-of-year ceremony. Kylie had been invited to attend, and as she stood on stage, she watched as the students received their diplomas and scholarships. One by one, they walked across the stage, their eyes shining with pride. It was a celebration of not only their hard work, but the incredible opportunity they had been given. A chance at a better future. When Diego stepped up to receive his scholarship, he turned to Kylie with a big grin on his face. "Thank you, Kylie," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You changed my life." Kylie's heart swelled as she watched him walk away, his family cheering him on. She knew that her actions had made a difference, but it wasn't just the money. It was the legacy of hope that she had left behind. That evening, Kylie posted a message on social media, thanking everyone who had contributed to the success of the school and the scholarship fund. But she also included a message for the students of Hope High. "You are the future. Keep pushing, keep dreaming. Anything is possible." As the months passed, stories of Hope High's transformation continued to spread. The school became a symbol of what could happen when communities, businesses, and individuals came together to make a difference. And as for Kylie, this experience changed her too. She had found a new purpose, something bigger than beauty products or fashion lines. It was about changing lives, one student at a time. If you watched the video till the end and want to hear more inspiring stories like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Take care of yourselves.